Come on in, sit right down. Keep your hands up and keep your chin down. Shut the door. Time to go with Randy Harris and Knockout Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, Knockout Radio with Randy Harris is about to start. So get ready for the best MMA talk, games, interviews, prizes, and surprises anywhere. For Knockout Radio, I'm the voice, Ray Flores, and you can follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Ray Flores MMA, or facebook.com/Ray Flores MMA. And now, here's Knockout Radio.
Hey-o. Hey, everybody.
What is going on, everybody? It is a Wednesday night. Almost didn't do the show tonight.
Whoa.
Why? What's going on?
Mike Tyson in town.
Mike Tyson.
I was going to go out there with Antonio Tarver and Winky Wright, and all the boys were going out there, but I'm devoted.
We appreciate that.
You notice the buzz? I'm devoted. First and foremost, I should have even have said it before the Mike Tyson stuff. Thoughts, prayers, all that stuff go up to the city of Boston, all of the victims, everybody involved, whether you're a victim or not. Everybody in this country is sick to their stomach.
Absolutely.
Most definitely.
I got re-sick to my stomach last night when I saw a YouTube video. I was so pissed I couldn't think straight. The looters.
Yeah.
God, it was disgusting.
Well, how do we know what they're doing? You don't know.
What?
You don't know what the situation. You don't know when that was done. Is there a timestamp of the video? Is that people moving stuff? Could that have happened at 7 in the morning? How do you know? You don't know for a fact.
All right, all of a sudden you're a defendant attorney?
No, I'm just saying, how do you know?
Playing devil's advocate.
How do you know when that happened?
Demeanor. Just like they're going to catch the scumbag who did it by demeanor, the demeanor of the looters that were grabbing more than one, because if it was early in the morning, first you wouldn't be grabbing them. A volunteer would be handing them to you. Correct?
I don't know. I don't know what the situation was. I saw part of the video.
Any event like that where you get something at the end of an event.
Yes.
So it wouldn't have been first thing in the morning.
They're setting stuff up. They're moving them. That's the original spot. They're moving them somewhere else.
Let's see how many of them end up on eBay.
Okay.
And I went on eBay before I saw the video because I wanted to purchase some items kind of in support. I want to wear the Boston Marathon 2013 logo. In support,
I don't think you should wear it unless you earned it and you qualified for the race.
I'm not saying
that's how I.
Yeah, but I'm not saying the items that were stolen that were supposed to
just
go
in general.
No, a hat.
No.
What do you mean? You can go to any Adidas store and buy a hat.
I still don't think you should wear it.
So you shouldn't wear an All-Star hat. You shouldn't wear a UFC hat because you're not training UFC.
One you can actually, an everyday person can do, and I saw what you did there.
Okay.
Just making sure.
Yeah, just making sure you caught it. I disagree. I think wearing a hat that you can buy in the mall, wearing the runner shorts that you can buy in the mall.
Please don't wear those.
Buying and wearing and displaying the medals, which are on eBay.
I'm sure they are.
The volunteer thing is, I think, a little different than the runner stuff. But I wanted to purchase some stuff kind of to support it, and then I saw the video and I got sick to my stomach.
Yeah, that's bad juju right there.
A lot of cool stuff going on tonight. First and foremost, post it, share it, sell it. Jovan Haye, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer, will be on in a few minutes to kind of fill us in on what that means. We've been now talking about it for the past couple of weeks. Jovan coming into town, a big press conference on Friday. We'll talk to him. Speaking of press conference, I haven't told the Juicy Onion yet.
No. You have not filled in the Juicy Onion.
Juicy Onion, you have a press conference.
Juicy Onion, no.
You have a press conference to go to next Tuesday. No,
okay.
Doesn't matter what you have planned. It's now canceled.
Okay.
Because you are going to go cover the TNA press conference.
Okay.
Over at Hogan's Beach Bar.
Nice.
They're coming.
Brother.
TNA's coming to town.
Brother.
And we're going to be there. Well, Derek has a real job, so.
Yeah.
So he can't do it. So I will be over there. That's
they just started their touring gig like the WWE. No longer based in Orlando.
Good. And we'll see how that builds up. But we'll be out there possibly, I don't want to announce it yet, but possibly a guest next Wednesday night.
Okay, so kind of a little bit of a segue, talking about TNA Wrestling. TNA Wrestling is on before Bellator on Spike. A little bit of a tweet that went out today from Bjorn, I would say about an hour ago or so. Here's the picture I'll show you guys in the studio. You see the nice picture of his office?
No, I can't see
all the stuff piled up.
That's a lot of stuff.
All right, so there's a bunch of stuff in the corner.
Hold on a second. More stuff than we have?
Yes.
Well, then we...
So it says, my office
need to
is a
rectify
mess
that
and needs fixing. I need the janitor to get over here now. So then I said, so Vlad the janitor is coming. And I get a response from Bjorn with a smiley face. That can only mean they're signing the janitor.
That's funny.
To Bellator.
Well, there we go. You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah. That
Via
was
Twitter.
36 minutes ago. I got the response.
That's pretty funny stuff. Pretty funny. How about the news? People have a lot of people have. Oh, by the way, 855-483-6646. If you want to pick up the phone, give us a call. You want to tweet us, Facebook us. Just received to the studio today, literally an hour ago, this week's giveaways from the UFC, the hat and the keychain. So we'll be giving that away. I've been talking to Ray Sefo about giving away some World Series of Fighting stuff. Bellator is going to send some stuff. Allegedly, ONE FC is going to send stuff, but I was told that a year and a half ago. So we'll see if that box ever shows up.
So you're saying there's a chance.
But a lot of fans, me included, have always called Josh Rosenthal that he looked like no, I even forget who he looked like. Who does he look like? The guy,
idiot?
Well, no, he is an idiot. He doesn't look like an idiot.
He does look like an idiot, too.
No, but I'm just saying in his
looks. Is he the fist pound?
Is
that him?
People have compared him to, who's the fighter with the hammer and sickle on his the
tattoo? Munson?
Yeah,
Munson. So they've always compared him to Jeff Munson. And now look, that Jeff Munson has anything to do with this.
Does Jeff Munson run a drug ring? I don't know.
We don't know. But
Josh Rosenthal does.
Who would have thunk Josh Rosenthal did? $6 million. They're estimating
that's what his company was worth?
Well, no, that's just that's not what the company was probably worth more.
Oh, okay. That was just the product that
$6 million was the product that they acquired.
Nice.
That's insane.
Plea deal.
Yeah, he definitely copped to that one.
Originally he pled not guilty. I know he pleaded today. Guilty.
Very
He's been
guilty.
Pushing it back too. I guess he had staph infection in January and couldn't go to court.
Oops.
Sentencing in May.
Wondered why I haven't seen him around.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. They got the bald-headed British dude instead.
No, they got some other people, and we're going to talk about that. Let's go back to last Saturday night. I know you and I kind of disagree.
Who's you and I?
Huh?
People can't see you pointing.
You. Sean KO
Okay,
Radio.
thank you.
KO Radio.
Thank you. Sean.
I like
That's
you're
fine.
wearing the Boston shirt tonight.
I am wearing the Cage Fighter Boston shirt.
Out of respect to Colin, it continue with Free Shirt Wednesday.
Yeah. And honestly, I got this shirt about a mile from where everything
in
went
Boston.
Down. In
Yeah.
Boston.
In Boston.
I didn't know we walked that street.
It's a pretty famous street in Boston.
I don't know. I found the Nike Town. That's all I was looking for.
So you and I have been disagreeing over last Saturday's UFC card. Now, first and foremost, I need to say this. I cannot tell you what I ate yesterday. I cannot tell you what clothes I wore yesterday.
You had egg whites. I'm sure you had egg whites.
Well, that was breakfast.
So, there you go.
But I can't tell you anything that happened yesterday. So for me to remember a card past the last one I saw is pretty difficult.
Yes.
But I don't remember a card. I don't remember enjoying as many fights as I enjoyed last Saturday night.
And I disagree with that. Was it okay? Yes. Was it great? Maybe, maybe not. Was it fun? Yes.
Right. You didn't think the whole card was great? You didn't think...
I didn't think it was the best ever, like you said. The best card ever. You said the best card ever.
I did say that. And there's a very good possibility this Saturday, after I watch it, will be the best card I've ever seen.
It was the last one that you saw.
Because I won't remember last Saturday.
I'm sure...
old age kicks in.
I'm still surprised you remembered last Saturday.
Senility.
Well, I don't necessarily remember the fights now. I just remember saying that statement.
At the time, you're like, I remember saying this was great. I don't know why I said it was great.
I don't remember.
But I remember
But I said it was great.
Yeah.
Some controversy in last Saturday, so that
There's
adds
always
to
controversy.
it. There's not always.
You can always find something.
Well, we found a few somethings.
Okay.
Now, here's my question, and Derek is caught in traffic. He may or may not be able to make it into the studio tonight. I'm sure, without even knowing, he would be able to disagree with this following statement. Is it illegal to throw an illegal punch?
Yes.
Okay.
You just answered your own question.
Okay, so it's illegal to throw an illegal punch.
Yes.
Does it matter when an illegal punch, an illegal strike, an illegal groin strike, an illegal whatever is thrown?
I don't know.
What? Where are we going with this?
A lot of people, and I know that Big John McCarthy has responded to Kenny Florian on Twitter.
Okay.
I found it funny that fans would tweet Big John and John didn't respond. Kenny tweeted Big John and John responded and talked about.
There's people that you respond to.
Oh, I understand that. And I'm sure if we tweet Big John, he would retweet or he'd get back to us. John explained Travis Brown's elbows.
Okay.
And that they are not illegal if you come in with an arc and not straight down.
Okay.
Okay. But there were some strikes that were to the back of Gabriel Gonzaga's head.
Okay.
But everybody is saying it was after Gabe was knocked out.
So in other words, you're saying that...
I'm not saying nothing.
Okay, let me rephrase that.
Okay.
People are saying that illegal elbows were thrown, or no, legal elbows were thrown to an illegal part of the body after said time.
After Gabe was knocked out.
Right.
But not before the fight was over. Because of the awful refereeing,
right,
which I tweeted right away.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said this before. Yes, I'm a judge in the state of Florida, but the most difficult job is refereeing. I would rather be a fighter than referee because it's split second.
Yeah.
And split decisions and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
you can't hesitate. You got to.
So Travis Brown made the comment that said the referee was standing right there when it was first said that some of these elbows were illegal. And I said, if he's standing right there, why did he allow Travis Brown to throw, not even illegal yet, to throw more elbows if Gonzaga was out? Why didn't he jump in quicker? So now people are saying that, and if you rewatch it, after Gabe appears to be knocked out.
They're on a first name basis. Gabe.
After he appears to be knocked out, Travis Brown continues, as you should do as a fighter.
Absolutely.
Until the referee stops it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So the gray area that I'm asking you, or really anybody else, just to have a conversation.
855-483-6646.
Thanks, Wix.
At Knockout Radio on Twitter.
And in the Ryan Bennett Memorial chat room. Hopefully you're in there.
It's loading.
All right. You can go to our website at Knockout Radio or MMAweekly.com. So people are saying, fans are saying, and I need to reach out to John to ask him this. If a strike to the back of the head is illegal,
yeah,
what difference does it make if the fighter is conscious or unconscious? If the fight has not been stopped,
well, yeah, it's
even
not,
if it's been
it
stopped,
doesn't matter.
Even if it's been stopped, that's even worse. If it's been stopped and you throw strikes,
Nick,
legal or illegal.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
All right. So why are fans? Well, they're fans, so that enough said. Well, it's not a big deal because he was already knocked out.
That doesn't matter.
They're illegal strikes.
It's an illegal strike to the back of the head.
They're saying that the illegal strike didn't knock him out. He was already out, but it doesn't matter. The strike still occurred in the fight. The clock was still going.
The fight wasn't stopped.
Yep. No contest.
There we go.
He hasn't filed anything yet.
Well, and we saw on Twitter that they were going to, and I don't know if you saw, because I know that I told you, when I just asked the question. I said, does anybody think that Nevada will overturn the Travis Brown result? He tweeted, no.
Now, if they overturn it to a no decision, does he have to give back the bonus check? Because technically it wasn't a knockout.
God, it could go either way.
I'd have to say yeah.
Well, I can picture Dana White saying it wasn't illegal. It's bullshit. Keep it.
Yeah.
I mean, right?
Yeah.
Can you not?
It's his world. It doesn't matter
that.
Whether it's right or wrong. It's
right.
It's what he decides.
Well, he was the one that gave the bonus.
Yeah, it's not on the actual
commission. Or whatever. It was just an interesting, where it goes from here. How do you go? Please be quicker as you're standing right there. would be a very good start.
Do a better job at your job.
All right, how about the women's fight? For the right to coach the Ultimate Fighter, for the right to fight Ronda Rousey. Give me your take. Give me your thoughts.
I thought it was an entertaining fight, and I agree with the stoppage. She was done. There was no way. She was done.
Wags?
Blood is good for entertainment value. I think they could have kept on going.
I'm not a big. There was a local organization, and I want to say something that Gilbert Melendez, who will be on the program next Wednesday, win, lose, or draw. Gilbert made the comment, "I'm going to try to kill Henderson." The blood comment. Mm-hmm. There was a local company here in the state of Florida that once promoted, until I gave him a ration of crap, the bloodiest MMA fight of all time. I don't want to see that. You don't want to promote it that way. I don't want to promote it that way.
There was
so I'm just saying the blood comment.
There was an organization on TV that promoted the first death in the cage.
Yeah, but it doesn't count because it was Wes Sims.
It was Wes Sims. They shouldn't be taken out on the stretcher.
Right, who's now died 3 times, and he's MIA, and he told me some stuff last night. And
you talked to him?
Yeah, shocking.
Wow.
He
found him?
He came out of the hole.
He heard wrestling was coming to town, and he
did give me
interested.
He did give me crap when he heard that Antonio Tarver. He wasn't as impressed that Antonio Tarver came to Nashville as much as Mason the Line Dixon came.
Okay,
because he has his shorts.
He does,
and he has the ring from Rocky VI, or
allegedly,
or
he could have done it.
So
himself.
he says,
whatever it is.
All right, so 1, it's okay. 1, it could have gone longer, except for the blood comment that I'll just ignore.
Well, the blood. When I say the blood comment, I'm not. I didn't say anything about promoting.
Well, you said blood for entertainment, and
yeah, people like blood when it comes to combat sports.
Why do people watch the Daytona 500?
I'm not saying that that's not a combat sport.
Why do they watch the Daytona 500?
The wreck.
For the wreck. They don't watch for the race. They watch for the blood. They watch for whatever.
Right. So you'd expect they would want to. You would want to watch a combat sport for blood. So that's contradictory to what you just said.
Well, I am a hypocrite. I watch NASCAR when I do watch it for the wrecks, but I don't necessarily want to see blood in fights.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I'll be the first one to say I'm a hypocrite. I'm cool. Start tweeting me, people. Tell me I'm a hypocrite. I know. But here's where I stand. And
at least he's honest.
And I
absolutely.
And I argued with a former Zuffa employee about this fight. These fighters, and it's a fine line between stopping it too early and stopping it too late. I understand that.
Again, as you said, the toughest job there is the ref.
These fighters train for a fight. They train 2 times, 3 times a day. This is their career. This is their livelihood. I believe you should give a fighter the opportunity to fight. What's the difference, Kim Winslow? Enough said. Why do I even need to go on? I just said enough. Kim Winslow.
You just answered your own question.
And again. I did get a tweet, by the way, from Eric in Denver. No Rosenthal means more Winslow. I say let Rosenthal out of jail.
Just let him do it via Skype.
Yeah.
He can do it from there.
Good call.
Yeah.
What is the difference between the 3 massive knees that took her down when the fight was stopped, or the 3 massive knees not 30 seconds earlier?
It was 3 massive knees and an elbow that were unanswered.
And as soon as she went down, she started to get up.
And how many times have they done that before, too? Where they get back up like they're ready to go, but they're messed up. There's no reason to continue.
And again, that's why it's the most difficult job in sports. The most difficult job in combat sports is to have to make that decision on a spur of the note, like that. It doesn't matter the fact that she won the first 2 rounds. That, to me, doesn't come into play at all.
It shouldn't.
And it shouldn't.
Well, as a ref, as a judge, does not matter what happened previously. You're trying to judge everything and officiate everything at that moment.
I know a referee once told me that it depends on who the fighter is as to how long he will let a fight go on.
Balls and strikes in baseball.
Well, Michael Jordan and LeBron on the basketball court. But it's not fair.
It isn't fair.
To say that if you were refereeing that you would let Randy Couture or Chuck Liddell or Tito or whoever go a little bit longer than you would Miesha Tate, I don't think is fair.
Okay. Stop all the fights then when they need to be stopped. Don't let anybody go.
Well, there you go.
Consistency.
It's not going to happen, though.
And I'm cool with being consistent. That's part of the problem. It's not consistent.
And you won't get it. It's not going to happen either.
Tate is suspended longer than Gabriel Gonzaga, who was out.
What's the suspension for?
I think it's 6 months for
No, not the length. What?
Ear must have
The
ear, nose, and throat doctor's clearance on her nose. Suspended until October 11th. Minimum June 13th with no contact prior to May 29th.
I in no way am saying that she wasn't in bad shape. I in no way believe that she would have won the fight. It was just a matter of time because of the abuse. The fight probably coulda, shoulda, woulda 20 seconds later, 30 seconds later. But I hate the what ifs, but let's just say what if.
Mm-hmm.
What if Winslow doesn't fall down and stop the fight, and she's able to survive, and now you go to the scorecards?
Well, then I think Tate gets it because I think it was we already discussed how she won the first 2 rounds.
Right. Well, I'm saying it could have been a draw.
There you go.
Well, it could have been a draw.
At the very worst for Tate. Either way, she still has a shot if she's not the coach.
I just
TUF.
Did they have a 4th round set for that one too?
I don't know.
What if it's a draw? Who's going to coach?
It makes it even more.
Yeah.
All right.
Now,
so we're gonna continue, and we'll come back to it. But he's at the airport in Nashville. We've been talking about post it, share it, sell it. The owner of the company, the big shot, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer, coming to town for a big press conference on Friday. Jovan Haye on the line. Jovan, how are you?
Hey, Randy. I'm good. How about yourself?
Appreciate your time. I understand you were going through security. All is good. Big press conference. I've been talking about post it, share it, sell it. A lot of people have asked, well, what is it? What does that mean? That's why we have Jovan Haye on the phone.
Yes. Post it, share it, sell it is the new concept. We will be, letting the Tampa Bay area, St. Pete area, basically the whole United States, I guess the whole world, know what post it, share it, sell it means on this Saturday. We have an event at the Oxford Exchange from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. You could find more information on our Facebook page at hashtag isupportsmallbiz, and that's hashtag isupportsmallbiz, and that's BIZ. But yes, it's a new way to buy, sell, and trade, and even barter online. It's a new concept that's hopefully it takes off.
And of course, it's going to start here in the Tampa Bay area and then expand throughout the state, throughout the country, throughout the world. As people are listening, mainly in the Tampa Bay area, but somebody in Jacksonville or Orlando or whatever that may want to come in for this, how do they attend? Who do they need to? Do they just go to the Facebook page?
Yeah,
how can
if
they
you
get
go
more
on our
information?
Facebook page, we have multiple posts with information about the event and where to RSVP. So if you go to our Facebook page and it's hashtag isupportsmallbiz, and that's BIZ, you could go ahead and see the invite, and hopefully we can pack that place. We have a lot of people have RSVP'd already, but a few more wouldn't hurt.
Talked to about 15 or 20 people today in the Tampa Bay area that are coming out. Explain the Big E. The Big E's on my website. It's now on my polo shirt. Tell me the thinking behind the logo with the E.
Well, the E, we chose, first of all, those colors because we wanted a more earthy color. Everyone will find out more about that E Friday, but it was just something that we figured. Oh, see, I'm at the airport, so this is raw right here. But okay, there you go. The E, it was just a concept that we came up with. It's going to explain our 3 platforms that we're going to let the world know about on Friday. So I guess to find out more about it, you would definitely have to go to our Facebook page, and then hopefully we could hit a couple media outlets on Friday and basically tell everybody what we've been doing for the last 2 years.
Well, and then I'll be there tweeting live, reporting live, and I'll tweet out to all of our followers, all of your followers, and I'll also have some prizes to give away. We have some T-shirts, a couple hats that you guys have provided. So we're looking forward to that to Friday and kind of getting involved and being more involved than just post it, share it, sell it.
Yes.
All right, Jovan, have a safe flight, and I will see you at the Oxford Exchange on Friday.
Okay, thank you. Thanks once again, Randy. And like I said, hopefully you guys come out and enjoy it and find out how we could help you guys out business-wise, consumer-wise. But thanks for having me, Randy, and I'll see you Friday. I
will definitely see you Friday. And when Jovan said he can help us, I said we would be there. Jovan Haye, everybody, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer. All right, we were back at
Miesha Tate. Yeah, I went to the underground because
it's like Wikipedia for MMA. You can find everything on there.
It's a good go-to for a lot of late-breaking stuff, but you go on there, and they have a picture that Miesha put on her Facebook page. This was Monday, so 2 nights post-fight, and you look at the picture, and at most her nose looks a little swollen. It does not look at all like she needs any sort of reconstructive surgery or anything like that. It does not look like it's a 6-month recovery at all. So it really is, when you look at that, it's hard to justify a stoppage when just 2 days later it seemingly looks fine.
I don't know if I should respond to that. Tell me.
I'm just full of bad ideas.
Well, no. Well, that is. Only because taking a look at a picture, that doesn't mean the situation that she was in. It doesn't, I don't know if you saw the picture of our good friend Tony Fricklin, who got beat up pretty bad, or at least his face did.
Yeah.
In the Tampa Bay area.
Mm-hmm.
And that fight went the distance. That, looking at him and looking at the pictures that he posted,
he looked like he had been hit by a sledgehammer over and over again.
In between 2 trains that hit him at the same time.
But when you're that is one thing I understand what you're saying, because you look at GSP after his last 2 fights. He looked horrible. He looked like he'd been put through the ringer, even though he most certainly won both of those fights. But when you're looking at the opposite end of the spectrum, she looks fine. Not even really any bruising at all. So I would say you can look worse than you are, but it's hard to look
I understand.
Better than you are.
No, I understand. So on the as we're talking about last Saturday night, in about 5 minutes, we are going to have the Ultimate Fighter champion on, the Ultimate Fighter winner on.
The Ultimate Fighter.
The Ultimate Fighter. Kelvin
Gastelum
will be on. I wonder if he's come down yet. Because like 2 days later, he's like, I still can't believe this.
It's pretty cool.
Dominic Cruz. And, I'm not going to call people out because people are going to say today, I picked Kelvin. I thought Kelvin was going to win.
Yeah.
But I didn't hear anybody say that. I heard Dominic Cruz pick Kelvin to win that fight.
Yep, I heard it too.
And big props to him. Big ups to him.
Yep.
And I know a lot of people, I saw Showdown Joe or I saw his tweets earlier, and it made sense what he said, and it's the exact game plan that Kelvin did. Having a game plan and being able to implement it are 2 different things.
Absolutely.
And he absolutely did. Uriah Hall showed a lot of class after the fight. Went over and congratulated Kelvin, congratulated his mom. I'm not so sure I liked some of the comments that Uriah might have said after. I was just trying to have fun. You're not trying to have fun. You're trying to win a fight.
Yeah.
Well, no. But you're trying to win a 6-figure UFC
But
contract.
the other thing, like you said, it's better sometimes not to win the fight. Not to win the contract, because now he could...
No.
What?
That miscommunication.
Okay.
Miscommunication. I have been told that it is better not to get a contract in the UFC through the Ultimate Fighter than if you come regular. Uriah Hall has a contract with the UFC.
Yeah.
Josh Samman has a contract with the UFC. What people have told me in the know is better not to get that contract, go do your thing, win a couple fights, and then come back, and in the long run, possibly make more money because of the contracts that you signed to be on The Ultimate Fighter, to be on the TV show, are nominal.
Yep.
So that's what I mean by that. Once you're in the house, you might as well win it because you're under contract until they let you go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's some guys that won't survive, won't do their 3 or 5 fights.
It's a six-figure contract that they don't have to fulfill.
Well, yeah, they don't have to fulfill anything because they can let you go at any time. Just like the NFL.
Yeah.
Just like, any of those. So, but big ups. He had a game plan. He implemented the game plan. Then at the top of the hour, no surprise, Josh Samman will be on. Who were people not tweeting last week that he had no heart?
I believe some people were saying that.
Because he tapped pretty quickly to Kelvin, and I think he showed some serious heart.
I think so too. I can second that.
And more controversy, with the slam, with the spike, with everything that Josh did.
The Samman slam.
The Samman slam. Is that what it's called now?
I don't know, but why not?
He had the Samman double fist. Now he has the Samman slam.
Yeah.
Well, and on last week's interview, he specifically said, and I love this line from this interview. He said, I think there's some quit in Kevin Casey.
Yep.
I'm going to find it, and I'm going to beat it out of him in the first or second round.
And he did.
And that's exactly what happened. He called it.
We talked, Sean and I, as we were watching it, who would you like to see Josh fight? And now, and we'll ask Josh about it at the top of the hour, how about now we see Josh and Uriah Hall fight?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That would be awesome. Why not?
I would like to see it, but I think it's a bad fight for Josh. You're coming off a victory, an impressive victory, against Uriah Hall, who you.
But all that hype has been. But right, I'm saying, but all that hype is still on Uriah Hall.
It's been busted now. It's Tiger Showman's been figured out.
Who said on this very program to the people that were saying he can fight for the title? He's the best fighter to come out of the house. Let him get out of the house first.
Yeah.
Let him win it. And I'm not saying that I didn't think he was going to win, but my comment was, and I was in a little Twitter thing today with Brad Penny about this weekend's fight, and we'll get into, some of that, and, Cormier versus Frank Mir, and it's the same kind of thing. Get out of the house. Work your way up, which I know Uriah said that, he wasn't ready and he was going to work his way up, but I think, and I'm sure he's thinking it now, maybe I should have worried more about the fight with Kelvin.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's what is at hand. There's no reason, and I've always believed this, that you should look past or any sort of thoughts beyond what you have. What is your task at hand? What are you training for? There should be nothing else on your mind.
Speaking of training, originally it was scheduled for tonight. It got pushed to next Wednesday, and I know you know a whole lot about her. Holly Holm, she has one more fight.
Yep.
One more boxing event, which will be May 11th. And then she's going to devote all of her time to MMA. Same thing. And I know you and I were discussing it before the program.
A little bit, yeah.
Yes, she's won 3 world titles in boxing.
Her boxing record is 32-2-3 since debuting in 2002.
I can impress you, too. She's 1-0 in kickboxing and 3-0 in MMA.
Very true. That's also a true statement.
But still, get into MMA. It's still it's animals and apples. It's apples and pears.
I think the animals eat the apples. So
I don't know if you throw the apple hard enough, could maybe knock an animal out.
Depends on the animal.
It depends on the arm of the person throwing the apple too.
It does.
Aim
on the animal.
So we'll have Holly on next week.
I think ADHD is contagious in this studio.
Yeah, it is.
Oh my God. Okay, so we'll talk to Holly next week, get a little bit more information about her, I guess, last fight as a boxer, going into the realm of MMA. She's already a little bit familiar with it. She's actually been training at an MMA gym for quite some time.
Now, you did more research than I did.
Which is still not
and I kind of felt stupid because I was going to ask her, she's in Albuquerque. Does that mean that she's at Jackson's?
Automatically at Jackson's.
But I haven't seen that on anything. But she's trained with Winklejohn, but it doesn't say at Jackson. So I just found that a little interesting. And we'll find out more.
Yeah, that would be a good question to ask.
Well, I'm sure we'll find out before next Wednesday. But,
we'll see.
It's just something to kind of think and talk about. How about, did you hear about Sexyama's manager?
No.
$140,000.
He stole.
Wow.
Yeah. 100.
There's been so much talk about managers that have done this. There's been so much talk about managers that take advantage of fighters, that, skim off this, that. I'm really surprised this is the first time we've really seen it. I know it's happened a few times, but not as much as you would anticipate with how much we hear on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
No?
Do you think they try to keep everything in-house with stuff like that, even if something does happen?
Who?
I don't know.
No.
The fighters, the management team, I don't know.
No, I think they want to get it out, but we'll get back to this. There's still a lot of stuff to talk about. The runner-up to the runner-up, Josh Samman at the top of the hour, but the winner of the whole damn thing, right? He's the runner-up to the runner-up.
Yeah.
Right, would be Josh Samman. He does his weekly segment at the top of the hour, but the winner, the champion, the Harley rider,
the ultimate fighter
on the line with us right now, Kelvin Gastelum. Kelvin, how are you?
Hey, what's up, man? I'm good.
Have you come down? Have you? I've seen some of your tweets. Like, you can't believe it. It's now 5 days later. Do you believe it yet?
I don't think so, man. I don't know, man. I'm still kind of speechless about it. I don't know what to think about it, really.
Talk to us about the fight. You're in the cage. You're leaning up against, looking up at Uriah Hall, where a lot of people were predicting Uriah Hall not only to win this, but I guess to beat Anderson Silva next week. What's running through your mind?
Through the fight, I knew that I was going to keep the pressure. No matter what he threw at me, I was going to keep the pressure, and that's exactly what I did.
You definitely stuck to the game plan. Was there any time that you felt like you were starting to get away from the game plan, or was it 100%, going as planned?
No, I think it went pretty much as planned. We kept the pressure 100% of the time. Made a few mistakes, obviously, but I think we kept the pressure pretty well, and then did the game plan pretty well as well.
Talk to us about, let's go back into the house, and I'm sure you heard we've had Josh Samman on the entire season. Talk to us, the first day, it's the dodgeball, it's the elementary school pick. You're down on the list of the picks. What are your thoughts then?
Well, before coming in, I wanted to be on Chael's team, and he's, going through his picks, and I'm like, oh, man, I hope he picks me. I hope he picks me next. And it's coming down to the last three, and I'm like, oh, man, I don't know. And then he picks me last, and I'm like, oh, thank God.
so good and bad. Bad that it's last, but good that it was still with Chael.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you can tell us that we might not have seen, during the filming about Chael? I think Chael has kind of done the Tito Ortiz, where there's been a lot of people that disliked him, but this TV show kind of turned people around on how he treated and how he cared about, you fighters. Is there anything that maybe they didn't pick up on TV that you could talk about?
Not by much. I think you guys got a pretty much idea of what he is really like, behind the camera, or when he's not being Chael. He's a very kind person. He was always there 100% of the time. Very, great coach and very vocal, and we couldn't have had a better coach. So
when the WWE Chael Sonnen, switches off, he's a really down-to-earth guy.
Yeah, he's extremely nice, and I was really surprised, and I grew more as a fan of his because of it.
If you can remember, let's go back to last Saturday, and again, because I'm sure the emotions are like you just said, you still can't believe it. As it's getting late in the third round, when did it start to kick into you that I won this fight?
It really didn't hit me. When I got up after the third round, I really didn't know if I won. And I hate living in the hands of the judges because, like I said, it's the only fight that I haven't finished in my career, and I don't do that. So I hate living in the hands of the judges, and that's what happened. So I never know what's going to happen when it comes to the decision.
So, and the same thing, let's take it one step further. It's now at the decision. They now announce a split decision. Again, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, it was a really close fight, I think, but I think it was probably the right decision to give it to me. I kept the pressure the whole entire time, kept them backing up and putting them up against the cage, and the takedowns, I think, is what won me the fight.
Well, and I agree with you. We scored it. As we were watching it, we had it the 29-28 and had you winning, without a doubt. Talk to us, for a second, what it was like, because my co-host and I have argued about this last week. You're fighting Uriah Hall, who you're on a TV show with, who you just kind of met. Are you teammates or are you not teammates? Because I'm thinking you just met him. Your job is to win the fight, not become friends with guys.
Yeah, we're teammates. I still think I'm always going to call my teammates from the show my teammates, because we became all real close, and I know that I have friends for the rest of my life in those guys.
Well, and again, I'm sure they're
including Uriah Hall.
Sure. No, and again, I'm sure they've now become friends, but it's my whole thing was, it doesn't matter, or does it, who you would have fought, whether it was a John Jones guy or whether it was a Chael Sonnen guy. Did it really matter to you?
No, it really didn't matter to me. I think in the end, everybody knows we're there for one thing. If they can't put their friendships aside for 15 minutes, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that we're all there for one thing, and it's take care of business.
Well, and ironically enough, the main event were two friends, so they kind of put it aside. Did you know that the trophy was different this year? Did you know that going in?
No, I had no idea. It's pretty neat. It's pretty neat that it's different this time.
Because as we're watching it, we're like, "Where's that big glass thing?" And then something totally different came out. Explain to me, because there's now in the UFC contract, I believe, that you're not allowed to ride motorcycles. Isn't that correct?
I heard something like that, yeah.
So you're not allowed to ride a motorcycle, but you want a motorcycle. So how's that going to play out?
Yeah.
How's that going to play out? Or you can't, or you got to wait to find out from Mersch?
They haven't told me no, so I'm assuming yeah. That's what I'm going to take it as. And Dana just congratulated me, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna take it for a spin every now and then.
You got the keys. You might as well ride it. Talk to us about the fight with Josh Samman the week before. That was really back in December.
What's that? I'm sorry.
Talk to us about the Josh Samman fight. Which was shown the week before, but really it was back in December. Again, people looking ahead. People thought Josh versus Uriah. Talk us through, if you can remember that far back. Josh.
Well, the fight, I knew Josh was going to come in strong. I knew he was a great grappler. I wanted to trade and stand with him, but he seemed pretty big and pretty strong, so I took the fight to the ground, and I knew he was going to be scrappy on the ground. I just knew that my ground and pound would probably be a little bit better than what he expected, and fortunately for me, it was.
I think it was on Twitter somewhere that you're either thinking about or you've already made the decision to go down and weight.
Yeah, I'm going to go down to 170s.
So that's definite. Your next fight will be 170.
Nothing is confirmed, but I'm hoping for yeah.
Well, I guess that would lead into any thoughts on when your next fight will be, where your next fight will be, or who they're going to offer you?
No, I don't know who they want me to fight or anything like that. I haven't talked to anybody about it.
How soon would you like to get back in?
I'd say about 4 or 5 months.
Take some time off.
I want to take a little break, and then get right back in it and travel a little bit and learn from different camps, and then come back home and start training hard.
What camps have you thought about, or have you already reached out to?
None currently.
So that'll just come in time to decide where you want to go do some extra extra work?
Right now, no, I'm undecided. I don't know exactly where I want to go, but I know that I want to travel around and train. I just don't know where.
Finally, let me ask you this: the Ultimate Fighter winner experience obviously was good because of the outcome. Is it something that you would do again if the offer came? Hey, we want to put all the winners back in the house, or something like that.
The TUF experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was surrounded by a great group of guys who, like I said, are now my friends, and they made the experience that much better. And so the coaches. I had great coaches. And that made, everything was great. I think the experience is great.
Kelvin, let me ask you this. What do you think was different in this season over seasons in the past? And I know there was like one or two pranks, but there really wasn't a lot, which I'm not a big fan of anyway. Again, it's MMA. You're there to do something. Was it the guys were more professional? Your coaches said don't do stuff like that. Why was there very little of that?
I think because, we had guys who were more professional about it and were really more, I guess just professional about it. They were there for one reason, and everybody was pretty laid back as well.
Who are some fights that you're looking forward to watching?
From who?
Just any MMA-wise. I mean, are there any particular fights? I'm sure you're looking forward to John Jones and Chael next week, but, any other fights that kind of interest you?
Yeah, Ben and Benson Henderson and Gilbert Melendez is an interesting fight to watch. Gilbert, he was number one in Strikeforce, and now Benson is number one over here in UFC. Both champions versus champions, so it's always an exciting fight.
It's going to be matter of fact, there's a lot of really good fights coming up. Looking forward to that. Before I let you go, sponsors, manager, teammates, anybody that you'd like to throw a quick plug to?
I just want to thank everybody that's been supporting me. I got a great group of guys. Donnie, Terrell, Chance, Edgar, everybody at home, Joe.
Is Zuffa the UFC, are they bringing you out to next week or this week, as the Ultimate Fighter champion?
Are they bringing me out where?
Well, it's either the fight this Saturday or the finale next Saturday.
We're trying to work on going to the New Jersey to see Chael's fight.
It's kind of, the advantage of being the champion, Kelvin. You get to go hit the road show as the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah. It's definitely awesome. I love traveling, and I think it's going to be a great experience. Going and watching my first UFC fight. I still haven't been to any UFC event.
Well, I have a funny feeling that I'll see you in New Jersey next Saturday.
Nice. All right, then I will see you there.
I'm looking forward to it. Kelvin, thank you very much for your time, and congratulations on winning the Ultimate Fighter.
Thank you very much.
Kelvin, right there, your champion.
The champ.
Humble guy. Very much a humble guy. And
humble, or he just still doesn't know that he won yet?
I think he does. Come on. He knows, but he's definitely humble. Absolutely, just like the guy who finally made it to the studio.
We can start the show now.
All right. Well,
I feel like Ron Burgundy. All right, everyone, we can do the news now.
We've stalled long enough waiting for you.
Holy cripes.
We've been done for an hour.
Oh, I tell you what. It sounded terrible. I was listening on the way in.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, it's been boring, so I decided I'd stop by and help you guys out. Okay. Pick it up for the second hour. Okay. You know what I mean?
I appreciate that. I saved the WCW interview for you.
There you go.
So hopefully you did your homework.
I always do my homework.
The best of Monday Night Nitro.
Yeah. I watched the Attitude Era one, too.
Did you?
Oh, fantastic.
Well, just like I'll say to Norbert, real quick, the thing that I like about this DVD is Ryback right on the cover of WCW.
Really?
Yeah, don't you see Ryback right there? Goldberg.
I see what you did.
You're funny.
He's a funny one.
I am a funny guy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we kind of talked about last Saturday fights. I know you just got here due to traffic.
Oh, yeah.
Thoughts?
No, great card. Fun card. I, just kind of real quick what you guys said. The elbows, who said they were illegal? The referee's the only one who can declare if they're illegal or not a bunch of losers like us sitting around, judging.
No,
Ref was looking at it.
I don't think that's
they're
true.
legal. They're legal. They're legal. No warning, no point deducted, no anything. Those are legal shots as far as that fight's concerned.
So it really would have made more sense if, in fact, they were illegal, that they take a point off knowing that Gonzaga was knocked out. So then at least he did something.
Right. It's as far as I'm concerned, on the books, that's legal. Those are legal.
Well, I don't think to the back of the head is legal.
Did the ref say anything?
I think
he's the one in the ring.
I think the ref ran out.
He's the only one to call it legal or illegal. I mean, it's the same thing. As someone said, like strike zones. I mean, balls and strikes. We can sit there and piss and moan.
Sure.
It's only one guy's opinion that's official. So those are legal shots
unless
as far
you're
as I'm
talking
concerned.
golf.
Yeah.
Unless you're talking golf.
Yeah, then you can call it in. Somebody told me that you could hear plain as day the greatest referee, Kim Winslow, yelling, "Stop grabbing the fence! Stop grabbing the fence!"
She's very lenient.
About 19 times.
She's very lenient, that Kim Winslow.
I would like to see, and I know Showdown Joe is saying that he'd like some changes made, on the elbow strikes. I would like to see that if you grab the fence, you lose a point.
Well, what my thought on that is, get rid of the fence. Get rid of the fence. Well, you got to come up with something better than the fence. I understand.
Plexiglass.
That's what I've always said. Is something you can't grab.
You sure you don't want a Family Guy fight between Peter Griffin and the chicken? And they just go everywhere.
I'm okay with the cage.
You're missing it. I don't know.
I'm okay with the cage, and if you grab it, you lose a point.
I mean, sure. I mean, you have to be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
But what I'm saying is, just get rid of the whole thing.
That's a lot of pledge. Or a lot of Windex or something after each fight.
Give someone a job.
855-483-6646. Haven't given it out in a little while, and we have a caller on line one. I hope it's not Chuck Liddell.
Hello?
Is it Liddell?
Hey, man, thanks for taking my call. How you doing, Randy?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good, man, good. Yeah, so listen, I listen to your show every Wednesday. Big Bubba listener, obviously, like everybody else. So here's the thing. I had a question first, and that's regarding the fights coming up this weekend. I'm a big gambler, and I usually do pretty good. I would say, on a whole card, I'll do, 3 losses to, 5 or 6 wins, something like that. So I usually do all right.
That's
However,
good.
this weekend, I accidentally, on my gambling site, made an accidental click of the mouse and did a parlay for $100 on Nathan Diaz and also Henderson. And I'm not worried at all, one bit, about Henderson. But for some reason, and it's just a weird feeling, I don't know how good of a wrestler the Punk is, Josh Thompson. So
Right.
I wanted to sort of get your feedback on, what you know about him and his wrestling, because in my mind, that's the only way he can beat Nathan is to, control and that kind of stuff. And then real quick before I hang up, guys, look, Randy, you're a great interviewer, and one thing I will say, though, is, and I know it's probably impossible, but, I mean, that guy was just like listening to paint dry, that Kelvin guy. And I know some fighters are like that, but, man, I mean, brutal. And, maybe if there's a way to screen them ahead of time, I don't know. Hell, you guys are the pros, so I'll take your call up there. Thank you for taking my call.
I appreciate it.
That was a fantastic call, because I'm the one all the time. If we have a dud of an interview, you have to play nice. They're nice enough. They're taking their time on your show. You can't pre-screen them, really. I mean, the guys, and sometimes they freeze up.
How many fighters would turn down after they talk to us?
Well, and the thing is too. I mean, I just think it's one of those things where you make a note and you say, well, do we want him back? So hopefully it didn't drag on too long and kill your interest in the show. But hey, man, it's hit or miss sometimes. Sometimes you get a dud.
Before we go into his question,
yeah, because I love his question.
I do too.
I think that's a great fight.
It is, and before we get into it, let me just throw this out. I think we tend to forget how young some of these kids are.
That too.
And you and I both have been in the NFL locker rooms, and we forget these are 21, 22, 23-year-old young guys, that are thrown in microphones and thrown in.
Wait, he's from Yuma, Arizona. I mean,
they don't even have microphones there.
Right, they haven't even invented.
They just got plumbing.
Yeah.
So I understand what Liddell was saying, but let's cut all these guys some slack. Who interviewed Kelvin before this week?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's not like he's a seasoned
Josh
veteran.
Samman is a seasoned veteran.
Yeah, as a PR guy, I'd love to get Kelvin on the phone and all right, let's talk about this. Let's work on a little media training tips. But as far as
he's just happy.
Hey, God bless him. As far as the Diaz fight, I mean, this was a fight that on the card, and I know we're going to kind of go over Saturdays. I wanted everyone's take here at the table because I think Thompson wins this fight. Personally, I think he keeps him off balance. I think he's. I know Diaz has had a lot of fights, but I feel like Thompson's just more of a seasoned fighter. I feel like Thompson has beaten Gilbert Melendez two times, 2 out of their 3. In fact, I thought he won the last fight. So what take do you guys have? You're holding up your finger, Sean.
Yeah, he's only beat
just
Gilbert
once.
once.
He beat him once. I thought he beat him the last time out. They fought 3 times. He beat him once, lost twice. I felt like their last time that Thompson won.
Both guys' last fights are losses to Gilbert Melendez.
Yeah. So
and Thompson he's 3-3 in his last 6. But he's been going back and forth.
I mean,
recently.
Who are you taking in this fight? I think it's an interesting matchup. I don't know how good Thompson's wrestling is.
I don't think it's
answer.
I don't think his wrestling is that good,
and I don't think it's going to go there. I think this is going to be a striking match. And I think it's going to be very similar. And this might be a lazy comparison just because it's a Diaz. I think it's going to be very similar to when his brother fought Carlos Condit. And it's going to be
stick and move.
It's going to be strategic and on the feet. And I feel like Thompson is very dynamic in keeping guys off balance, and mixing up his kicks with his knees, with his punches. And I think that's going to really be the difference in the fight.
Looking at his Wikipedia page, obviously I knew about
where you go for the answers.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, what I meant to say was each guy's last fight was a loss to the guy in the main event. Clear that up.
Gotcha.
Okay. Sorry.
Thompson beat Bang Ludwig, who is a stand-up boxing guy, so I'm going to give the little bit of that edge. I do agree that if it goes to the ground, Diaz is going to win this fight. I don't see Thompson doing a whole lot on the ground.
But do you see Diaz? Do you ever see a Diaz shooting?
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They can win fights on the ground.
Do you know why?
If the fight goes there.
Do you know why?
Yeah, because you can't talk shit down there. You got to stand up and do your thing.
Well, I think you can talk more shit when you're on the ground.
Yeah, but people
because
can't
you're closer.
see it.
Yeah,
but
you're
people
closer
can't
to the ear.
see it.
But I believe that the Diaz brothers are a lot like my brother from another mother, George Gagel. I know I can beat you on the ground. It doesn't mean as much to me I still say George doesn't know Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Right, because when the lights are on, he never does it.
He doesn't do it because he's determined to be exciting. He's determined to stand up. He's determined to beat you at your game. And I think Nate is more comfortable on the ground, I think, as you watch the fights than Nate.
Mm-hmm.
Or that Nate is more comfortable than Nick.
Right.
On the ground. He likes being down there, but I don't think he's going to take it there.
Right.
And I think Josh Thompson is a stand-up guy, except for when he got knocked out by Eve Edwards, which is still, the highlight, head kick. But it is going to be a good fight.
I'm interested. I mean,
I'm leaning towards Nate.
Are you?
Yeah.
I wait till the weigh-ins, but I like Thompson. I think Thompson keeps him off balance. And I feel like the Diaz brothers, and as talented as they are, physically gifted, all that stuff, I just feel like mentally, and I don't want to say they're weak because
they're mental.
They're mental, but you don't compete in triathlons like they do. You don't do that stuff. You don't train as hard as they are by being mentally weak. I just don't feel like when it comes to game plan and execution of game plan during that 15-minute fight, during that 25-minute fight, that they're committed to it. I feel like they put in work. They have a game plan going in, and then something goes awry, and it's like, oh, I'm going to stand and bang, or I'll figure out a way to win. I don't feel like they're like laser focused on the game plan and doing what it takes to win that fight.
They seem like they don't need anyone else's help. They can do it themselves, and they've been doing that their whole life.
Right? They don't want anybody's
They've
help.
been by themselves their whole life. So something happens, don't worry, I got it.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm going to do, even though people are telling them don't do it.
Nate did just make that big move. Where he just made the move from his management, or didn't he just change managers? Or
well, what is it? Caesar's not managing him, but that doesn't.
Right.
That's not his training partners. That's not.
He's staying in
the gym. Right.
Yeah. He's staying in the gym. I mean, he made some behind the scenes stuff as far as management, and that could come down to sponsors and all that. But, the Diaz, to make a boxing analogy, is Zab Judah is a guy who came up from Brooklyn by himself, all the talent in the world, all the skills, all the speed. But once he would get into a fight and get a little rattled, forget it. There'd be no adjustments during the fight, and he ended up losing a lot of fights like that. But you can't question his talent. I see it going like that. I feel like Josh is going to get Nate off his game, just like Benson Henderson did, and Nate gets lost.
Could be. We'll talk more about that. I want to talk about the main event and the Frank Mir fight, because that fight,
I'm looking forward to this card.
A lot to talk about. We're going to do it. We're going to hit the top of the hour break. Then we'll come back, more phone calls, and the runner-up to the runner-up, Josh Samman, when we return.
It's your way to get in the ring. Get in the ring. 185 live on IO. Knockout Radio is back after these words on Bubba Army Radio.
You don't know, you should know. My name is Chael Sonnen, and you're listening to Knockout Radio.
It's so bad. There's blood everywhere.
Wipe the blood off your face.
Doctor says he's found quite a bit of blood in my stool. It's fantastic.
Knockout Radio. We're back to Knockout Radio.
In your face!
On Bubba Army Radio.
855-483-6646. Before I get into my Chael, John Jones, and there's some stuff, we still got to go back to this weekend's fights. Have some stuff to give away. The UFC hat and keychain that we received in the studio today, we'll give away with picks on Saturday. We haven't done that in a while.
Okay.
So we will do the picks for that. Have tickets to the WCFL that is May 3rd, 2 weeks from Friday in Tampa. Anybody wants to go?
I want to go because their last two shows have been phenomenal.
Yeah.
I know you went to the last one. You raved about it. I went to the one before that.
The last two I went to.
You went to the last two, that's right. And I went to the one before that. Dynamite.
Yeah.
Dynamite. Great matchups.
Great matchups. The production, it doesn't come into play, even though they're filming it. The thing that I'd like about it,
when you're there live, it's great.
But I like that, and we had Ralph on Friday, the fact that there is no lull time.
Yeah.
Last time they had 19 fights.
Yeah, they're rolling them in and out.
And one after the other, one after the other. It got to be too much. And I know for a guy like you, there's no such thing. So,
you would hope a guy who's judging the event, there wouldn't be too much. But
I wished I got paid per fight. But when you have 19 fights and you're paid $32, I'm making about 14 cents a fight. Now, I'm not there for the money.
Are you sewing soccer balls too?
but I would like to at least pay for my gas and the parking.
Yeah.
And they did take care of all that. They are really good guys.
But a really cool event.
It really is.
They did a great job. I'm looking forward to that event.
If you would like to go, tweet us, call us, 855-483-6646. We'll hook you up with tickets. We'll have tickets next week. I'm sending Wags next Tuesday if you want to go as well. There's a big press conference at noon.
Yeah, I know. TNA is going to be in town.
Yep.
Oh, man.
And we will be involved. We'll have tickets to give away. We'll have credentials.
So I shouldn't badmouth anything?
Yeah, you can do anything you want.
We'll have credentials.
Hey, if it gets you ringside, I won't be in town, so it don't matter.
What a joke. Where are you going to be?
I believe that's a UFC weekend.
Is that?
I believe that's what was going to be the heavyweights are going to tango.
Yeah, okay.
That's the May 24th, 25th.
Got a good heavyweight fight this weekend.
Yeah, we do.
Really looking forward to this one.
Let's talk about that. I'll save my Chael John Jones thing.
No, go ahead.
We'll save it.
Hit your Chael point.
We'll move to next week in a minute.
May 23rd. There you go. Impact Wrestling.
Right, May 23rd, Florida. But that's Thursday.
That's a Thursday, yeah. Thursday night at the USF Sundome.
Who cares? Let's go.
I
won't be here.
Oh, I wasn't even paying attention. I was looking for a date. I was like, let me see something.
He was in the zone.
Just like high school. Sean was just looking for a date.
I was talking to Brad Penny on Twitter, who's a big Cormier guy.
How many times are you going to drop Brad Penny's name?
You were talking to a guy on Twitter. That's all you need to say.
How many times are you going to drop his name on this broadcast? I heard it at least twice on the in the drive.
All right. I was talking to a guy on Twitter.
Yeah.
Who's a big Cormier guy.
Okay.
Fred Binney.
And basically, yeah. And he's like, well, who do you got? Who do you got? And I'm like, I'm going to continue with, I will take a good UFC fighter over a good fighter coming from another organization. So said person said, well, how about a great fighter? Show me your great.
Where's the great fighter?
So I said, you mean a great fighter like Hector Lombard? Show me something. And he said, well, he beat a great fighter in Josh Barnett. No disrespect. I said, yeah, you're right. He was a great fighter. And Cormier may be a great fighter, but I think this is a huge test and a great test for him because I think Frank Mir still has a little left in the tank. I don't think something to go maybe win the title from Kane or JDS, but I think he's still upper echelon. He's in the top 10.
I'll say this. I want to be proved wrong about. I'm kind of in your boat. I want to be proved wrong about Cormier, because when he was coming over, I mean, he beat Barnett, and people were screaming, "Is he next in line for a title shot?" And I put out on Twitter, I'm like, "Who did he beat?" Like, and I forget. I had some good responses back and forth with people, and they make good points. And I didn't mean to, belittle him and say he's a bum. But this is a great fight.
It is.
Because if there's a time to beat Frank Mir, this would be it. I think, like you said, I don't think Frank Mir's in the title picture, but he's pretty close. And if you can beat Frank Mir, okay.
No.
Now I'm listening. Now I'm paying attention to you. And I don't think Frank's done yet.
I don't either. Either. And we'll talk more about it. I want to continue talking about this weekend. I want to continue talking about next weekend. But the runner-up to the runner-up of the Ultimate Fighter, Josh Samman's on the line. Josh, how are you?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Where's the perky Josh? Where are you?
No, I'm here. Sorry, it's been a crazy long weekend, and I just got back in town last night and had a busy day today. So I'm here. I'm alive. Just just not quite at 100% quite yet.
A crazy long week. How about a crazy long fight?
Oh man, it was a crazy fight for sure. Very close to defeat. I was early in the first round, as everybody saw. So luckily, I made it out of it. But man, yeah, it was a crazy fight indeed.
Now, Josh, I know that you don't respond, to the haters. I mean, you respond to a lot of fans on Twitter, and I know you and I go, and talk on Twitter and such. But did you get back to those haters on Twitter that said you had no heart and say, "Did you see the fight?"
No, I didn't respond to any of them. Man, usually, to be honest, if people are being pretty negative on Twitter, like, I'm not gonna lie, I just block them, man. Because if not, they'll just continue at it every day. They don't have anything better to do than just bother you over and over. So, man, nothing but positive feedback after this weekend, though. Because as you said, man, I think that it was good. I won't say that it was good, but I almost got my freaking arm broken. But I think that it served to definitely give me some more fans, man, to push through that adversity and be so close to losing the fight. And there was a point in the fight where I had accepted that literally the thought ran through my head, okay, my arm's going to get broken. At least if I break my arm, the UFC will have me back, and I won't have to tap out 10 seconds into my debut. That's what I'm thinking in the middle of my fight. I'm like, I'm not going to tap. I'm not going to tap. I'm not going to tap. There was just no way. Everyone was asking me about the triangle after the fight. Triangle is one of those things where you go to sleep, you wake up, you lost the fight, whatever. But your arm getting broken can be a lot more traumatizing and painful. But that's what I had it in my head that there was no way I was going to lose so quickly into my UFC debut. So, good thing I didn't tap, because obviously I made it out and ended up winning.
So with Quentin Jackson now out of the UFC, you have taken over the slam, the Samman slam that you'll now be known for, right?
And I had another thought that's inside my head is so he's got me in the arm bar. And I'm wanting to just slam the living shit out of him. And I'm like, okay, it's kind of one of those gray areas, and it's been discussed a little bit after the fight about slamming somebody on their head. Now, it says you can't spike someone on their head. Now, I went back and I spoke with Herb Dean after the fight, and I won. He didn't say anything about the slam, but I said, listen, for future clarification, I said that sort of slam, it's kind of a gray area about what you can do on their head. And he said, and what I was told by an official is that it's up to the person getting slammed to let go of that submission. It's up to them whether they want to get tossed on their head or continued to try to break the arm. So when I was in the middle of the fight, I was kind of like trying to get him off the arm bar, but I didn't want to get DQ'd for slamming on his head. So I think I actually could have slammed him a little bit harder. Next time, if I'm in a submission like that, I'm going to go for broke and then actually get a Quentin Rampage slam and maybe get a knockout from it.
Well, when you did that, I mean, I cringed. I mean, that was on the head, but as you said, I mean, that's on the guy hanging on to the arm. You know, he can move his head, he can tuck up, he has to take that bump however he wants. Now, something that caught my eye, and you know, you said this last week. You said there was going to be some quit in him, not Quentin, some quit in him, and you were going to find it. When you made it out of that, and it was only, I mean, a minute and a half into the fight, seemed like about 5 minutes you were hanging on. Did you feel like right at that point you had him? As crazy as that sounds, you just got out of an airtight submission. Your arm was bending, but you shook loose. At that point, did you feel like he quit, or did it take into that second round?
And I know the certain moment that you're referring to, and I thought that I would. I thought that after he had gotten so close to submitting me, and that and not being successful, I thought that I would have taken the wind out of his sails. I thought he would have gotten discouraged, and I thought I would have came back and beat him in the first round. That's what I'm thinking in my head as the fight's going on, and that's not what happened. He had a second wind where he got on top and started landing some really heavy punches and elbows, and he hit me with one or two really good solid ones where he really loaded up on it and really hit me clean. And it sucked because I got hit with these heavy punches, but it was kind of at the same time it was a good indicator to me of how much power he had and what his best shot was while he was on top of me. And I felt like he had really put together a really good string of submission attempts at the beginning, and he had really put a lot of elbow grease and a lot of juice into these punches and elbows that he was putting on me, and I knew it wasn't enough to stop me. I knew that it wasn't enough to TKO me as long as I kept moving, you know. So that was kind of a motivating to me. And then at that point, I think maybe I'm 2 or 3 minutes into the round. He hit me with some really hard shots, and I was like, all right, that's all he's got. I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna let him gas himself out. And that's, you know, and then I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna punish him for it. And that's exactly how it went. Is in my head about halfway through the round. I'm letting him just gas out. I get up, maybe with I think my corner tells me when there's about a minute left in the round. I stand back up. I try to go for the TKO right at the beginning of at the end of the first round. I don't quite get it, but I'm able to kind of take some more energy out of him. I hit him with some hard shots to the body. And then, man, I was so tired, and I really don't get tired a whole lot. You know, I try to make cardio and conditioning one of my strengths. I really believe in that cardio wins fights. You know, more often than not, I think that's what a lot of fights come down to. And it's not often that I was tired on Saturday. But, you know, I was tired after the first round, but I knew no matter what that he was going to be more tired than I was going into the second round. I just went straight back into that clinch position, which can be, you know, a really physically demanding position for a lot of guys, especially if you're in the position losing it. And I knew that he couldn't be stronger than me there, so I just went straight back to that tie clinch and continued to stay there until the fight was over.
And we're on with Josh, the man who picked up, I guess, is this your official first UFC win? Is that how we're ranking it?
Official first UFC win. I'm now 1-0 in the UFC, is according to them.
Which is awesome, and congratulations. We should have probably said that off the top. But when I'm watching the whole card play out and watching this season, kind of tying everything together, you know, it seemed to me that, you know, from week one, they were setting up Bubba. They were setting up Bubba to kind of be the guy. He loses in his first fight. They bring him back. You know, he gets and he lays down pretty much against Uriah. Uriah lays him out quick. Now, is a fighter in your position who made it to the semifinal, who grinded his way all the way through the tournament, didn't have to get asked back, was there a little bit of you that was like, what the hell? How come I'm fighting on the undercard on Fuel and I'm not on FX, and they put Bubba on?
Absolutely. That's something that both my manager and I were kind of baffled about, and I actually had we actually had a conversation with Joe Silva about it, and what he had said. You know, and first of all, I want to say that Bubba has, you know, the show aside, Bubba has been in the sport longer than all of us.
Yeah. We get that.
Sport,
we get the
and he really
respect.
has paid his dues, and he's worked very hard, and he's made a lot of sacrifices. So,
but you have too.
Yeah, you're right. But there's a part of me that was happy for Bubba, but there was definitely a part of me that was jealous that he was on the FX portion, and I wanted to know why. And so all that being said, what I was told was that Fuel TV had specifically asked for one good feature fight, had asked for me specifically, just to have some sort of like, I mean, not that there wouldn't have been drawing power otherwise, but that's what I was told by Joe Silva, was that they specifically asked for me to be the feature fight on the Fuel card, and they just kind of gave Fuel what they had wanted. So, whether that's how it happened or not, that was my consolation, is what they told me.
And you know what, Josh? I buy that. I buy the.
Of course you do. You're gullible.
I am very gullible.
I feel like this is the John Jones card.
No,
he played it the whole way through.
I am very gullible, but I know that they do ask for certain things, and we all know that you did deserve to be on the main card, and so it makes sense. There's just no reason for it not to be that way, other than that's what they requested.
Yeah, hopefully that's correct. I think that's a good way to look at it too. Is there's really no other reason for it to have happened otherwise, besides them asking for it. So we'll never know. But like I said, that's what I was told.
So, Josh, does that make it an easier pill to swallow?
Yeah, it's whatever, man. It's no, not really.
No, thank you. I was just about to say, you want to be on the main card, don't you? It's okay. You want to be on the main card. Tell Joe Silva next time.
I want to be on the main card. Yeah, you guys got it out of me for sure.
Tell him next time. I was on Fuel for the last one. Let's just skip the bullshit and put me right on the pay-per-view this next time.
Yeah. Well, with that said, Josh, when do you start talking to Joe?
And he'll get me on the main one next time.
Do what?
I said I have a great manager, and I trust him to do his thing. So hopefully, I will be on the main card next time.
With that said, I mean, when does that conversation, start with Joe to get back in?
I've asked for Joe. I've asked to fight in September. It's probably what I'm looking at next. When you count the Ultimate Fighter, I've fought 5 times in the past 4 or 5 months. Which just the show itself is a lot, and then. Coming off that and have nothing but knowing exactly when I was going to fight again and just having that on my mind, it's time for me to take a couple months off and rest and heal. And it's really not too long to be taking off. September is about 4 months away. So we're going to start looking at those cards. Maybe if not a card in Vegas, maybe if they have a card on the East Coast or somewhere in the Southeast, which they don't come here often, then maybe get on one of those. So September is the timeline I'm looking at, certainly no longer than September or October.
We are talking to Josh Samman, and we were talking about this before the program started, and some of us think it's maybe a bad idea or a bad matchup. Any thoughts on now, if the opportunity arises, you and Uriah Hall?
I think that eventually that fight will happen. I think it doesn't do me any good with him coming off a loss. Right. He's already kind of been exposed just a little bit. I think that Kelvin, really put the pieces together in there on Saturday night and did what he had to do. And I had a good feeling that Kelvin was going to do that anyway. So, I think let Uriah get 1 or 2 more wins and get some more momentum and steam behind him again. That could be a fight that they match up. But I don't think that's going to be happening in my next fight. No.
Now, you have to love being in that position with Uriah getting all this hype and getting all this, love for you to say, I don't know if he's there yet. Let him get 1 or 2 more wins to get to my level.
Really
you have to love that that's finally come around.
It's definitely come around. But and Joe Silva, if you pay attention to his matchmaking, it's not often that he puts a guy coming off a win and a guy coming off a loss against each other. Anyway, unless one of the guys is really high profile and one of the guys is really just coming up. Obviously there was a lot of hype and steam behind Uriah, but we were both on the same season. It was supposed to be him and I in the finals, as everyone saw it. And now I think they're in a position where they will probably want to get him a win or 2, and then maybe make that matchup, and then it'll be more exciting for everyone that way as well.
Josh, when did you and Uriah shoot the commercial?
The day after the semifinals.
That's great. That's great. We're now, and before we let you go here, Were you surprised by the finale? I mean, everyone had
finals,
Uriah Hall winning
Kelvin
this thing.
and Uriah?
Yeah.
No, absolutely not. I was gonna go bet money on Kelvin, and then they told me I couldn't. They told me that it was against. They told me it was in my contract. I guess I didn't read it well enough. I wasn't, man. I was not, and I'm not just saying that because I was in there with Kelvin and got beat by him. I thought that Uriah's, I thought that Uriah was just a little bit too overhyped. Everyone seemed to kind of forget his very first fight with Andy, the guy who was 4-1. He went to a decision too. I think that if you just look at all his fights, Adam had a good first round with him, and Adam doesn't have very much MMA experience. He just got caught with that kick at the end, and then. Bubba, I think, was kind of defeated mentally before he got in there, and I think that if him and Bubba fought again, even that fight would probably go differently. I'm not saying that Uriah would lose that fight necessarily, but it wouldn't, it's one of those things where, Bubba's been in there with some serious strikers and never had anything like that happen to him ever, so it was good for the season to have a guy with such hype and such excitement. And having all these eyeballs tune in to watch him, by all means, it was better for us to have this guy that Dana was billing as an unstoppable force, but he's not unstoppable, as we saw on Saturday night.
So that was the end of the TV show last Saturday. Next Saturday, the two coaches, as we all know, get it done in New Jersey. Give me your thoughts.
I think John's going to win. I think it'd be crazy to bet against him, but as I've gotten a few questions about the same thing this last weekend after the fight. One thing about Chael is just I don't think it's going to be a complete blowout as it's been with a lot of John's other opponents. I think that Chael's going to go in there and put up a fight, and this could be a career defining performance for Chael. But if you have to ask me for a prediction, I can't bet against John. There's no way. There's no way. I don't know. I just it's going to be very. Chael's got a tall order, and one of the things that Chael said on the show conversation that he and I had, as we had many, he was just said, I don't understand how John just blows through these world class guys like it's nothing. And I said, well, you might find out April 27th. Chael is a world-class guy. Chael is absolutely a world-class fighter, and we'll see how he takes the pressure in next Saturday. And then also this Saturday is a freaking great card. You got Nate Diaz and Gilbert Melendez and Frank Mir all fighting, and I'm rooting for all those guys, and they all got tough fights ahead of them as well.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a great card. We were talking about it before. The one thing I was going to throw at you real quick is I pretty much think any of us can take it to the bank or to the sports book that you will not see a spinning back fist out of Chael.
I don't think you'll see a spinning back elbow out of Chael, who's spinning anything. Although they do have him doing one on the commercial, which I thought was funny.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure
Hopefully that's not foreshadowing.
So before we let you go, you brought it up about this weekend. Give us your takes. Not who you like, but your takes.
I have to go with the guys that I like. There's no way I can bet against any of them. I think I will say that Frank Mir has the toughest fight of all my three guys that I'm rooting for. I think that Cormier, I've just been so impressed with Cormier, and like I said, I can't bet against Frank, but I do think that after Frank and Daniel's fight, that I think that Daniel will probably drop down to 205, and I think he'll probably also give John Jones the toughest fight of his career, assuming that's what happens and they end up fighting. But Gilbert's got a really tough fight too. I know that all the guys that I've talked to over a scrap pack coming out of his camp saying that he's in the best shape of his life, and this is not something that they say for every fight. They're just all really just being very emphatic about the fact about how hard Gil's been working and how good his physique is and how much he looks like he's really, really hungry. And I think that he's been waiting for this moment for a long time. It's crazy to think that I made my UFC debut before Gilbert Melendez, because I've been watching that guy and looking up to him for years, and I just hope he goes in there and gets it done, and I think he will. But it's like I said, it's a very, very tough fight for anybody.
The only thing that I'll disagree with you on, not the picks per se, but I would say the tougher fight is Gilbert's fight than Frank's.
You think so?
Yeah, I do.
It's It's yeah, they're both tough, man. They're both tough. You know, the thing is, we've seen Benson defeated before. We've never seen almost any chinks in Daniel's armor. You know, where do you beat him really? Where, you know, I mean, Frank he's got to. I think Cormier's boxing good. Frank's boxing is great, but I think if Frank wins, it's going to be by submission. And I think it's going to be. You think he's going to have to drag him down with some awkward something or other. I don't know, because obviously we all know how Daniel's wrestling is, you know. So I don't know. We've seen Vincent been beat before, and Frank's kind of got a puzzle in front of him on how he's going to defeat Daniel, you know.
It's going to be a lot of fun the second week in a row, and then of course next week. Will you be up in New Jersey for the fight?
You know, I have a combat night. I have our own promotion on Friday night, the night before that, so it'd be very hard for me to fly up there and make it to that one as well. But you know, it's not out of the question, because I know a lot of the guys from the season will be going, you know, as well. And you know, all of us from season 17 have really gotten close, and it'd be cool to go to meet up with those guys again. But I'm just not sure I'm going to be able to swing it.
Josh, I want to thank you not only for tonight, but for the entire season.
No doubt.
Congratulations on a pretty successful, not only show, but a lot of fans are picking you to be the guy to come out of the show with the best career. Don't be a stranger. We plan on having you on many times. You'll be we'll do some kind of picks of the week or something with you.
Anytime you guys need anything, you just give me a call. I'll be happy to come back and visit, man. It's been an awesome season. I've really enjoyed joining you guys every week.
Thank you, Josh.
We appreciate it, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Talk to you soon, guys.
Josh Samman, and you can follow him on Twitter at Josh Samman.
Good dude.
Yeah,
good
he really
dude. He was a great guest every week. I mean, he was more than just, well, you saw the show.
And you know what? Getting back to Liddell's call, you know, Josh has done this.
Yeah.
Josh has done media. Josh is a little older. He's a little more experienced.
He runs his own promotion. He's talking. Yeah,
right.
He sells his stuff. Yeah.
And I'm not going to disagree that it wasn't the greatest, you know, answers, but it's still better than the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar interview I did back in the day. That after the first answer, I wanted to get him off.
Yeah, was that fun, huh?
It was.
Was it better than the Riddick Bowe interview a couple weeks ago?
Riddick Bowe was better.
Yeah?
Riddick Bowe was better.
Wow.
Who was the other guy that we had from the movies, The Warrior?
Nick Nolte.
Yeah, Nick Nolte was better than
I want to
Kareem.
get drunk Nick Nolte back on the phone.
The next guy I want to get on is, who's the guy from The Apprentice?
Ken Shamrock?
No, you're talking about Gary Busey.
Yeah, I want to get Gary Busey on.
It was the same thing. He was the same thing.
It is the same thing. Shamrock's in Toronto. He's doing a big thing up there. Hey, real quick, I promised I would mention this. I know we have a lot of listeners in Las Vegas. May 18th.
Yep.
I guess he's not known as Twinkle Toes, even though during his whole career he was known as Twinkle Toes.
Yeah.
But Frank Trigg will be out at a place called Hammers, and he'll be out there on May 18th for the UFC from 5 to 8. They're going to have
actually an all-male strip club.
No, it's not.
Oh,
this is a former
Twinkle Toes?
No, Hammers.
Hammers is a sports bar. Hammers is he's a former hockey player who's now in Vegas.
Okay.
And he runs his own sports bar in Henderson.
Look it up.
And
Twinkle Toes out there.
Frank Trigg will be out there with a lot of prizes, surprises, and
I love him. He set me straight.
And giveaways. Yes,
I forget who we were talking about, and I forgot that GSP had fought Twinkle Toes. And he's like, well, you need to go back and do your homework.
Yep.
You got me. You got me.
On the line now is our favorite guy to talk some DVD, and we got a very special DVD to talk about with Norbert Hudak. Norbert, how are you?
Great, Randy. How are you?
I'm really excited because we're going to talk about the best of Monday Night Nitro, and I never realized that Ryback was in the WCW.
Well, I got to tell you, that's a good one, and it's kind of funny how things kind of cycle.
Yeah, they sure do, and just looking at, back in the day, I was a WCW guy. I watched WCW more than I watched the WWF, now known as the WWE.
Because you're a knucklehead.
Well, I liked it. I enjoyed it. The storylines I enjoyed it. And these are the legends of the legends. My good friend, the late, great Randy Savage, Sting, Hogan, Flair, and, of course, not Ryback, but Goldberg.
Of course. And, it is a funny likeness if you look at the front of the box. And I think your joke is hilarious because the WWE must have looked around recently and said, we did really well with a really big, buffed, bald guy. We need another one fast.
Yeah, that jumps up and down on the smoke. And I know that he listens. I forgot to mention, also on the front cover, our friend Dallas Page
Of course.
And Kevin Nash, the NWO. Talk about some of the matches that's on the Best of Monday Night Nitro.
Absolutely. And speaking of Dallas Page, he's the host. And if you hear from some of the fans, I mean, he does a great job. He hosted Volume 1, which came out a year or so ago, and he hosts this one as well. And, he's a guy that is so legendary, and he tells some of the stories, and he kind of gets into a little bit of his own story and things like that. So anything with DDP as the host, I'm in.
Yeah, and he doesn't lack for talking. We've had him on the show many a time. When you give DDP the mic, you might as well just kick your feet up for about half an hour.
And they had plenty to work with in terms of the cutting room floor.
Oh, absolutely.
Norbert, I know that I always ask you about this, about the media portion, the interview portion, because these are some of the legendary talkers of the entertainment business of wrestling. Ric Flair, DDP was a great talker. Randy Savage was a great talker. What are some of the interviews, and are they in this particular 3-disc set?
Yeah, they are. And in fact, you mentioned two of the great talkers of all time. There's a whole section on kind of a war of words with DDP and Randy Savage. You've got the Jersey Boys doing some of their thing. You've got certainly some of the NWO interviews and some of those situations on the mic. I mean, you got Booker T, you got a lot of these kind of interstitial interviews. There's actually a whole section remembering Macho Man. There's Nitro Girls. So it's a lot of that, what it was like at the time in Monday Night Nitro when it was going up against Raw. And you mentioned some of the legends themselves that are on this DVD. And, I mean, these are amazing matches, and this was a lot of fun to watch at the time, so it's a lot of fun to relive right now.
And I watched this. I watched this DVD. I cut you off. I don't care if you're mad. I watched this DVD, and I watched the Attitude Era DVD. And I watch wrestling now. I watched it before. But to see not only the matches, not only the promos, but to see how hot the crowds were.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable. It's night and day. It's night and day to an average Monday night. Now, I mean, they were hanging on absolutely everything, and to me that was half the fun, watching the crowd reaction, for a Monday night.
Difference. Yeah. Let me ask you, both of you guys, this, because I'm sure if I'm wrong, you'll both correct me. The NWO was kind of unveiled on Monday Night Nitro, wasn't it?
And it was a big part of Monday Night Nitro, and there's a lot of NWO on this one, and that's right.
Yeah, the first guy, Scott Hall, showed up. It was on Nitro. They played that thing out for about 5 or 6 weeks of just Nash and Hall on Nitro.
It seemed like 5 or 6 months.
And then Hogan with the big reveal at a pay-per-view. Yeah,
right, when he came out. Norbert, we are going to be giving away some copies of the Best of Monday Night Nitro, but for people that are not fortunate enough, I'll always ask you, if they're not fortunate enough to win it, where can they go purchase?
And you can go to Amazon, you can go to Walmart, to the WWE section, and you can go to Best Buy and anywhere else DVDs are sold. These are out now.
Now, we have had quite a bit of tweets and Facebook messages, and people are now kind of coming on board with the WWE DVD section that we're doing on the Wednesday night show, like we used to do on Friday. And a lot of people are asking, when does the WrestleMania DVD come out?
May 14th. It is right around the corner.
And of course,
Turn and burn. Get them out.
And we will have you on just before. I don't know what day the 14th falls on, but that Wednesday before, we will have you on, and we will be talking about it.
Absolutely, because it's going to be loaded with not only the pay-per-view itself, but some behind-the-scenes, the Hall of Fame ceremony, which is so much more than what was aired, and lots more good stuff.
Awesome. Norbert, as always, thank you very much. And,
thanks, Norbert. You're
hopefully
the man.
We'll talk to you again next Wednesday.
Thanks, guys.
Norbert Hudak, everybody, and we do have some copies to give away. All you have to do is email us. Go to the website, knockoutradio.com. Send us your name, address, all that kind of stuff. We'll have a drawing tonight at 11:59.
And I'd be failed to if I didn't mention that Sean had brought up about the janitor and his tweet from Bjorn. If you want to read some quotes from Bjorn and the janitor on it, friend of ours from the MMA Report, Jason Floyd, had just interviewed Bjorn. He was on the phone with them when they were talking about the janitor. So go over, check out Jason's stuff, and he has some quotes from both those guys.
So did you break it? Were you able to figure it out?
Technically, I was first, but
Oh, we're gonna get in a pissing match about it?
No,
I don't care.
I was just saying that
I was just asking
you got it, and I said if people want quotes about it.
I don't care.
No, the quotes are good.
Okay.
No, I was just saying that were you the one that kind of figured out his deciphering words?
His
noticed,
tricky tweet.
I noticed the capitalized T in the. Why would you capitalize a T in the if you're not
For
talking
janitor?
about a person?
Well,
It's got to be a person, right?
got to be a person.
Yeah.
That college education came
finally
through.
paid off.
Wow.
I was like, why don't you just get a janitor, not the janitor?
The janitor. It's a different story.
Interesting. All right, this weekend.
Yeah.
Main event, Gilbert Melendez will be on the program next Wednesday.
Win, lose, or draw, you said,
Win, lose, or draw. I mean, that's what he claims. So you know how that scheduled to appear thing is.
Scheduled to appear.
And
you never know out of that camp.
Yeah, ain't that true? But we've had Josh on before.
Yeah.
I think that's the more difficult of the three fights.
The main event.
The main
for
event.
the guys that Josh Samman was talking about.
Right, of those three.
I don't see this ending well for Gilbert. I don't. I'm over the moon on Benson Henderson. I think he's unbelievable.
I have him ranked number 3.
Benson?
Yeah, I have Benson the number 3. No, number 4. I'm sorry.
In his own division?
No,
pound.
Pound for pound.
I was about to say what?
The one that you don't care about.
Yeah, the one you don't care about.
The one that doesn't matter.
That doesn't matter.
I'm a Benson Henderson fan. I think he's on another level right now. Athletically, he's so dynamic.
He's so smooth.
Hey, how about that?
I like what you did there.
But I mean, what I look at that Diaz fight that he had, his last fight out, and Diaz had never looked stronger coming into a fight. I thought we all agreed that he was on a roll, and I felt like he took Diaz out of his game and really dominated him for 4, maybe 5 of those rounds, and handled them. I think Gilbert's going to be a tougher match than Diaz is going to be, but I still like Henderson. I don't see where he loses in this fight. You know what I'm saying? I don't. I ground, stand up. I don't know. I just think
going back in my mind, which is a very difficult place for me to go to. I don't remember Gilbert dominating. Mm-hmm. And dominating and I've always said it, and I'm going to continue saying it, even though I'm a Gilbert guy.
Sure, he's a great fighter.
I've always said that he is the best fighter not fighting in the UFC, and I've said that when Eddie Alvarez was the champ.
Yeah.
And, when Hector Lombard, I've always said that Gilbert was that guy. Mm-hmm. But I still look, and I'll continue to say like the Frank Mir and Cormier, until you come to the UFC and fight UFC fighters. Compare, Sean, if you can pull it up real quick. Compare, who Gilbert has beat, Thompson and those guys.
And again, his last fight out, they say he was distracted or whatever with what was going on with Strikeforce. I thought Thompson won that fight. I don't think he looked good. Thompson is pushed.
He didn't look good. I thought Gilbert won. But he didn't look good.
We were split on that.
Right.
And I'm with you. He hasn't. Who's he really beat? And there's a big difference from being the best fighter not in the UFC versus the UFC champion in that weight division. That's a really big difference. And I think he's a great addition to that division, and I like the fact that they're giving him the shot. I don't think he gets the win.
It's the Hector Lombard theory.
Yeah.
We'll just throw him right there. He's labeled as that. Yeah, why not?
All right. Let's go to the one that I think has the most on the line. And most people would say the title fight, has the most on the line because it's the title. I think it's the Cormier Frank Mir. A lot of hype on Cormier, and I'm going to say the same thing as I'm looking at it. Who has he beat, and who has Frank Mir fought? Beat, lost, it doesn't matter. I think.
Well, I mean, if you're doing
I think
that,
Cormier's a stud.
But who has he fought?
Right.
If you're just not wins, exactly. No, I'm with you.
No,
I'm
you're saying Cormier. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it.
Biggest name on there now is Antonio Silva, but that was in September of 2011.
Well, and I, just because he won his last fight, a lot of people still are not on the Silva bandwagon. A lot of people.
I'm not.
Well, a lot of people are not saying. Is Silva in the top 10 in the UFC? I think he is, only because he has the title fight. But I don't think just saying that he beat Antonio Silva, he beat Jeff Munson. He beat Dion Starring.
But when it comes down to it, a guy with this type of backing now, this hype now, you would expect he should have beaten them. You would expect him to have beaten those fighters then. So
Yeah.
I mean, to me, I don't know what's your point about saying that, yeah, he beat Munson, and yeah, he beat Starr.
I'm saying he hasn't beat anybody.
He's not giving those guys the credit.
Okay,
He's
yeah.
just saying, and I mean,
You can only beat who they line you up against. I understand that.
Yeah.
But I continue and I will continue saying, the best of this organization against the best of this, or one of the best of this of the UFC. Until you come out and win a fight, it doesn't mean much.
And against a top tier heavyweight,
right? It doesn't even have to be the main guy,
right? A top tier heavyweight. To me, the difference is, when they're talking about him dropping to 205 after this, does that mean he can't hang with the top tier heavyweights? I don't know. A lot of people will call me crazy.
I don't think that's what he's saying. I think the reason that he's going to drop is one reason and one reason only, is that he won't fight Cain Velasquez. And I understand and agree with, if you're not going to fight for the title, why be in that division? Why fight just to fight? If you're not going to fight your teammate, then I'm go down to 205.
So do you think if Velasquez gets unseated as champ, he moves back up to heavyweight?
I think if Velasquez loses to Silva,
to anybody, doesn't matter.
I don't know if he's going to bounce back and forth.
Right.
I think the decision's going to be made. He's assuming Cain's going to keep the title for a while, and so why go through all this work if you're not going to fight for the title?
Right. Understand that. Yeah.
So no, I don't think that he'll go down to 205, win a couple fights, fight a couple fights, whatever, and then if Cain loses, I don't think he'll jump right back. He may come back.
Eventually,
but I don't think he'll do it right away.
Okay. Right when that opportunity opens up.
But just talking about this fight, who do you have?
I got Frank Mir.
Okay,
he's got Henderson, Mir, Diaz, Matt Brown. Those are the picks.
Those are your picks.
That's my picks?
Yeah.
How do you know my picks?
Because they're all UFC guys fighting Strikeforce guys. That's just what I'm going on.
Going by,
go. Yeah,
going by.
Well done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Going by your theories.
That's your theory.
The analyst over here.
Just going with your theory.
I'm with you, Amir. Again, like I said, prove
me wrong.
Prove me wrong, and I'll be more than happy. If he loses, to say, okay, I missed something on on Daniel Cormier that other people saw. I don't mind saying that. I think a lot of people are like, oh, I told you. I'm okay with pumping the brakes.
Yeah, we'll be wrong.
Okay, yeah, maybe I missed something. Now you have my attention.
I don't understand, as a voter on the rankings, how some people, I guess, have Cormier number 3.
Yeah.
And again, my thing is fight in the UFC first.
Yeah.
Come in and get a UFC fight before we automatically.
Never mind.
What, you're going to say Gilbert?
No, they had the women's rankings on there too, and only 2 had fought.
I agree with
you.
Well,
right.
and
so now there should be 4, right?
Well, and the way they had it is they listed the women's fighters that are under contract, and you had to rank them.
So Cormier is under contract.
Well, I'm just telling you the difference. I'm telling you the difference of why I did and didn't on who I did and didn't. I had to on one because they only have 9. The other, they had enough that I didn't have to rank him. Right. Now, if he beats Frank Mir, I might consider putting him in the top 10. I don't know. I want to watch. You got to watch the fight.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
We got to see how it happens.
You got to remember the fight. You got to write everything down.
Well, I do. I write it down, and then I lose the paper, and then I find the paper later, and then
But it doesn't matter because you already voted.
Right. I vote right away. I do vote right away because the voting is open as soon as the fight is over, and then closes first thing Monday morning.
There you go. Get your reactions.
I do it right away. I do it as soon as the press conference or whatever is over. Why it's still fresh in my mind. Absolutely. But I do have Frank Mir winning this fight.
Yeah. Wags?
I have him winning strictly not. Yeah, I have Mir. Not taking into account UFC versus Strikeforce. I'm just thinking from the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu standpoint, he's already going to be comfortable on his back. What is Cormier known for? His wrestling. So obviously he's going to be comfortable trying to taking down Mir. I think the offsetting style here is going to be Mir's very, very impressive BJJ capability, and it's going to be a submission.
Got to get to the ground first.
Well, I think it.
Before
it's
even
funny,
that,
I feel like it's going to be a stand-up fight. For whatever, call me crazy. I feel like Mir's going to want to box, try to use his boxing, I feel like if it gets down to the ground, he obviously has the advantage there.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's why Daniel will want to just throw hands too.
And he can avoid the takedown too.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that I was going to throw out, Cormier has big hands, but Frank Mir is known to take an ass whooping too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and he's had some serious ass whoopings. The one in London, the Shane Carwin, the Brock Lesnar.
Twice.
Who did he fight? Munson?
Yeah. What are you talking about?
Ian
Freeman.
Ian Freeman.
They look alike.
Yeah, they do. So does Rosenthal.
All three of them. Who cares?
Ian Freeman. That was in 2002.
Yeah, we were there.
It was an ass beating.
Yeah, it was. It was ugly. So he is known, and he refused to let go of the ankle. You know, he had an ankle lock on, or leg lock, or whatever it was. Again, I don't remember because I don't remember yesterday.
It was 2002. So
it was right.
Yeah. Oh, no way.
But he refused to let go. So it could be the same thing. Time will tell. I'm looking forward to it.
So,
and the Matt Brown fight.
Matt Brown's fighting
Jordan Meehan, who just was very successful. I think it was in Montreal. He looked great. But again, it might be a little too early for him to get a guy like Matt Brown, who's on a freaking roll.
Meehan's brand spanking new to the UFC.
Matt Brown is not an easy draw for your first time.
But
through
Meehan's
the door.
more seasoned than Melendez, Cormier, and
Meehan
and
is. Oh, he's very seasoned.
He's got one fight under his belt.
He's got one UFC fight.
One, yeah. He's
so
been
so you're saying more seasoned than these guys?
More seasoned than the other three above him.
Right. Chad Mendez on the card.
That was the Clay Guida fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where Darren Elkins.
TJ Dillashaw on the fight. Joseph Benavidez on the fight.
All right, so to give away this stuff, to give away the UFC stuff for Saturday night, set it up. Are you picking the whole card? Top to tails?
He's going to say most correct picks, and that's all he's going to say. He's going to leave it at that.
I know. Well, here's the problem.
I'm just telling you.
I know.
Just us speaking, leaving him out of it.
Right, please. I know. He likes to dick around.
I'm not dicking around.
He wants people to be smart.
Sean.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me, I'm talking to Sean.
Yeah, all right.
He likes to dick around, and then when nothing happens, and he's like, well, I told people. So I'm trying to get it defined here. So we're going to say the person who picks the most right fights on Saturday night on the UFC card.
That's so different from what I said.
Fights. There's 12 fights.
Whoever picks the most correct fights on Saturday wins the UFC package.
And where can they send their picks in?
You can tweet them.
Tweet them to who?
To Knockout Radio.
To @Knockout Radio.
I don't care. Tweet them to you guys. You can
No. One place.
You're the one
place.
deciding this.
You can tweet them. Or we'll just do tweets. We won't even do Facebook. We won't do emails. Straight tweets like we've done. But the most correct. There's 87 fights. The most correct of the 87 win the UFC prize pack.
Tiebreaker.
Okay.
That's a great call. Tiebreaker.
The tiebreaker will be...
Sean, you've been doing an inordinate amount of thinking tonight.
I know.
I'm really earning a check.
Yeah, really. We always go to the main event. Do I need to do that, or can we go?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I was going to go the Frank.
Why are you asking us? It's your show.
The main event.
You run this thing.
All right. The main event. The main event. You know, I've already talked to Norbert about next year in New Orleans. So you need to be real careful because they're picking up hotel, airfare, the whole 9 yards for WrestleMania.
It's in New Orleans.
It's in New Orleans.
Yeah.
That pig.
Yeah.
Whatever. We go in Monday, right? We spend the whole week, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's a whole week.
There's press conferences, right?
You got to do the whole thing.
All right, so
credentialed.
The most correct picks for Saturday night, tiebreaker, main event, Benson Henderson, Gilbert Melendez, how they win.
How they win.
You know, because you're already being the pick as to, you know, who you're picking.
How and when, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's fine. How and when.
Okay.
And then where it'll get difficult, if somebody gets how and the other person gets when, then we'll
How is one, when is two?
No. How and when. I've got
Holy
two halves.
Shit. Who's on first?
I've got enough.
It's one contest.
Okay.
Third base.
I've got enough stuff to give away.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So if we have a tiebreaker to the tiebreaker, everybody in the tiebreaker will give a prize to.
All right. Are we going to do it? Are we going to go the four on the main card and pick them?
You better do it quick because we don't have much time.
Matt Brown, Jordan Meehan.
Matt Brown.
Right,
that was quick.
Nate Diaz, Josh Thompson.
Diaz.
I got Josh Thompson.
Thompson.
Ooh.
Frank Mir, Daniel Cormier.
Frank Mir.
Cormier.
Muir.
Championship fight, Benson Henderson, Gilbert Melendez.
You know, I've flip-flopped many times on this. You know, like I've said, Gilbert Melendez to me is the best fighter not in the UFC, who's now in the UFC. But I agree with you, Derek. I think Benson Henderson or Ben Henderson is just on another planet.
Yep, I got Benson.
Benderson.
Benderson. It's going to be good. It's going to be a great card. And then, this is 3 great weeks of UFC fights.
And the beauty is we'll come back with it next week. Gilbert Melendez will be on, and then we'll talk about, Chael and John Jones and Bisping and Alan Belcher.
The 30 days of sun.
There's going to be a lot of sound bites coming out of press conferences, coming on tweets, It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun one to prep for.
We do have the tickets to the WCFL. It's May 3rd, Friday night in downtown Tampa. We can hook you up. All you have to do is send me some tweets. We've got a little packet of tickets to give away, and we're more than happy to do that. Follow us on Twitter at Knockout Radio.
At DCUCULICH.
At KOX.
Sean, KO Radio.
Had a major phone call today. We're adding another affiliate, and when you people hear who it is and what we're doing, unfreaking believable.
Boom.
See everybody next Wednesday.